My wife cheated on me with my best friend, tried to ruin my life, and take everything, so I exposed them and left them with nothing. If you asked me 5 years ago, I would have told you I had it all, a beautiful wife, a thriving business, and a best friend who was like a brother to me. My wife, Claire, and I met in college and built a life together. She was my rock, my confidant. Then there was James, my childhood friend who had been by my side through thick and thin. We were inseparable, a team in every sense. But life has a cruel way of pulling the rug from under you. Looking back, the signs were there. The whispered phone calls, the sudden outings Claire couldn't explain, the way James started avoiding my eyes. I told myself I was overthinking. After all, I trusted them both with my life. That trust was my biggest mistake. It happened on a Wednesday. I'd come home early from a business trip, eager to surprise Claire. Instead, I walked into the nightmare of my life. The sounds coming from our bedroom were unmistakable, and when I pushed the door open, there they were, Claire and James, tangled in the sheets we had shared. They froze when they saw me, but their guilt wasn't enough to keep my world from shattering. Claire didn't even try to explain, James muttered something about it being a mistake. I couldn't speak. The rage, betrayal, and heartbreak all choked me at once. I left without a word, slamming the door behind me. The days after the betrayal were a blur. Claire tried to justify herself, claiming our marriage had lost its spark. James didn't even bother reaching out. The worst part? Claire wasn't done hurting me. She filed for divorce and demanded alimony, the house, and half my business. She's entitled, my lawyer said, but there's room to fight. Fight? That wasn't the word. I was going to war. While Claire was busy playing the victim and parading James around, I focused on gathering everything I needed. I hired a private investigator who dug into their relationship and found they'd been seeing each other for years, long before the affair came to light. I also discovered that James had embezzled money from our business, and Claire had knowingly spent some of it. Armed with this information, I built my case. Quietly, methodically. If they thought I would roll over and let them take everything, they didn't know me at all. The courtroom battle was brutal. Claire's lawyers painted me as a controlling husband who neglected his wife, but the evidence I'd gathered spoke louder than their lies. My lawyer presented the proof of Claire and James's affair, the embezzlement, and their attempts to manipulate me into giving up my assets. The judge wasn't amused by their antics. Claire's alimony demands were denied, James was ordered to repay the stolen money, and I retained full ownership of my business. The house? Mine. The car? Mine. Claire left the courtroom with nothing but the clothes on her back and James at her side. You'd think that would have been enough, but I wasn't finished. While they were busy licking their wounds, I leaked the truth to everyone who mattered in their lives. Friends, family, business associates, all of them learned how Claire and James had betrayed me. Their reputations crumbled. James's career was ruined, and Claire became a pariah. The life they'd envisioned together fell apart as quickly as it had begun. Years later, I look back at that time as the turning point of my life. The betrayal hurt, but it taught me resilience. I rebuilt myself, focused on my business, and found happiness in ways I never imagined. Claire and James? They're just ghosts of a past I've long since left behind. The best revenge isn't just living well, it's thriving while those who wronged you drown in the consequences of their actions.